Peace Universe. We coming at y'all tonight live. Well, not live. We're going to record live, of course. But our main topic tonight, we're going to be talking about podcasting, live streaming, video. Basically, did video kill the radio star again? That's the idea. We come up with these topics because it's something that is interesting in the world that's going on, but people ain't really seeing it because they're too focused on all the other drama or rigmarole out there. Whatever we're calling, and ain't nothing against that. But there's
Right.
a lot of shit going on in this world that people are really aren't focusing on. But that's what we're trying to do. Because we're always trying to figure out our next step, where we're going next, what we're going to be doing next. We know the next evolution of whatever we're going to try to do as, not I'm not saying entertainers, but being out there, giving a message. So that's what I want to focus on tonight. And I did find this video, and this guy talked about podcasting dead and all that, and like tied right into it. So we all sat down and watched the video separately, and we're gonna have a conversation after the video. But until then, what's going on, brothers?
Um, not a lot. Took a nap earlier. I ordered out. I had some chilies.
Chili's good. I love the chilies. Buffalo
Still
ranch chicken sandwich.
$1.
Do what?
He still doesn't want to buy that train depot for $1.
Now, is it really sell for $1?
Yeah.
Because I smell something fishy going on in the water. But you know what? If y'all want to have a conversation about that on Green Room, not that'd be cool. But I mean, tonight we're gonna be focusing on podcasting. But I do like the idea of actually buying a train museum or a train depot for $1 because you can actually live there. So or someone could buy it and turn it into a place for people that don't have nowhere to live.
Or turn it into another railway museum.
Or give a place for people to live.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah,
Apartment.
go ahead. Do what?
I was just, you could turn it into a hobo apartment.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, there you go. Like give homage to the hobos of the old riding the rails down the road.
There you go.
But so yeah, we got some news today. Gilbert Godfrey passed away. I'm pretty sure not everybody caught that, but yeah, that's another one gone, another great one gone. And as we were just talking a minute ago, and you remember Gilbert Godfrey as, like you said, what?
Like I said, I remember him from the PGG era, and it's a little bit of a stand-up.
Right. Now,
I've
Rob, you
seen
remember?
Problem Child. Yeah.
Right. I said, yeah. A lot of people actually know Gilbert Godfrey from his like basic stand-up or his comedy work, his TV shows, movie spots. His the parrot on Aladdin, was it Gabbo?
It was Iago, yeah.
Iago. So a lot of people that voice is so well known. Like Rob said a minute ago, it's like Urkel's voice. That you can't distinguish that voice from anything else because that's like it's right there. So Gilbert Godfrey had one of those voices. Now, and I was just telling them, I was like, I know Gilbert Godfrey from his X-rated comedy because there's this one joke in the comedian world, in the comedic world, that is called The Aristocrats. And comedians, I mean, a lot of them refuse to tell that joke because it's so dirty, so filthy, so offensive, so raunchy that they will not tell that joke. But the premise of the joke, and you can go look it up, you can find different people talking about it. But Gilbert Godfrey did one of the best ones. Damn, I'm ready. Get choked up. So this family of entertainers walk into a talent agency and they ask them what they were doing. So they start going on these whole things, and it gets to the point where it's like, damn, it's so offensive that but the punchline is, well, what do you call yourself? Oh, we're the aristocrats. But it's out there. So there's plenty of people that actually have done the joke. But like I said, a lot of the mainstream comedians refuse to tell that joke. They will not. Gilbert Godfrey, I think, did it. He's done it several times. But the best one I saw was he actually did it in a ICP concert live on stage. And I'm like, and like they asked me if I would want to do that. I was like, I thought about that, but I'm like, there is still some lines that I won't cross. I like to think of myself as a pirate and an outcast. Say what I want to say, unfiltered. But there are just some things that But maybe get to the point where you never know. I might drop that bomb when it gets to the point where it's like I really don't give a damn what anybody thinks.
The ratings, just saying.
Oh no, ratings won't be a thing. People will actually hunt us down and try to kill us. I'll find the video and I'll send a link to the group and everything, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And you watch that video, be like, oh, I'm glad he didn't tell that fucking joke.
Right.
We are not only canceled, we will be dead and buried and cut into several pieces and sent across, the different parts of the world. Yeah, they'd hang us by our nut sacks. Well, they'd hang me by my nut sacks. Right, kill y'all for letting me do it.
Wow, it's that offensive, huh?
I wasn't offended by it because I find vulgar humor humorous. I find dark comedy humorous. I find things like that funny. But there's a lot of people in this world that, they say they have thick skin and they can take a joke, but whoa, yeah, I'll bring that up. But yeah, so Gilbert Godfrey, man, thanks for moving on. We appreciate everything you've done. Good and bad, in between, all around. You lost another great one.
Rest in peace, Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
Yep. 2022 is off to a banger. First Fox, and now Godfrey. And Louis Anderson. There we go. Bam.
Yeah. No, it's funny because people die all the time, and it seems like only if you're a celebrity that you get the heads up on the news or entertainment or social media. Oh, we lost a great actor. We talked about Rob a couple weeks ago about he's always losing family members, but you never hear about Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or the news media promoting those deaths. They're like, oh, we lost another great one. So, I understand that celebrities are people too, but I still think that we should actually honor the death of anybody that passes along. But that's just me. That's just me. But I do get the idea that when a celebrity passes away, it's a special part of, because we think we're connected to them in an emotional capacity. So I do get that.
Even though they never know us, we still.
Right. Oh.
Right.
So this is what we're gonna do, folks. I found this video the other day, and this guy was talking about podcasting he did, and there's a video out there. We're not gonna show the whole video. We're gonna show you a little bit of it because that's what the idea of what came to my mind when I heard this. Because it seems that 2022, a lot of the podcasters stopped podcasting for some damn reason, and it's like back when thing was going on and all that, everybody went podcasting. Because I follow several shows myself when we were starting, to actually transition from video to audio. So I follow a lot of those shows, but a lot of those shows ain't going on no more. They were doing real good stuff, but I'm like, so where the hell did they go? I know the idea is transitioning from audio to video now, or vice versa, whatever you want to call it. But it seems like they stopped doing those things because they get their freedom back. They get to go back outside and go play in the sandbox and go play on a swing set. So they gave up on the idea of what they were enjoying. So I'm curious because we've been doing this going on now 3 years now or 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years.
So 2018 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people know that me and Rev actually.
Yeah, we're going on 3.5 years right now, still doing this. Yeah, we started doing this basically video, but we turned audio into a video by having a picture background or some stuff like that. But
not a lot of people know that me and Rev started this by ourselves, and then we added Rob. As we went later on, we decided we wanted another person on the show, and we tried out a few co-hosts. None of them lasted, but. Well, Rob,
you're done. Take me off your friends list. Y'all are too offensive.
It seems, it seems me being the third one, seems to be the ticket for the show.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Our ratings went skyrocketed out the roof. We got millions of dollars, and we live in mansions and drive around Maserati because Rob joined the show. No, I'm gonna tell you what the show did for Rob himself. The more he's on the show and doing the commentary and the talks and the conversation and all that, the less chance he's out there tickling someone's booty. So we're saving the world. That's what we're doing.
You're funny. You are funny.
I know. Man. Like I said, I got that. Well, it's over here, my profile side, it's my good side. I can just turn on way to the camera. Hey. But that was the only thing I was worried about because I wasn't worried about my looks. I've been a camera whore for a very long time. I put out, everybody knows, I put out many videos. I have no problem being on video. It's just, I like to have a cool background. So now I got part of my cool wall over there. I got my curtain up here. This is actually my curtain to my outside. Because I didn't want to just sit here. I don't want to move my entire computer desk to where my cool wall was. But so I do like this profile view because also y'all got a good profile. I ain't no Liberace or nothing, but I got a good side. But other than that, don't forget my good side. So we're gonna let this video roll, let y'all check it out. We're gonna come back, we'll have a conversation about it. Deal? All right, somebody hit the button. Clickety clack, clack, where is that? There it is. But
okay, so I'm gonna get started. This should be streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube simultaneously. So this is the first time I am streaming to all three platforms at once, but I'm gonna talk today about why podcasting is dead and really kind of how I arrived at that and why you need to start live streaming, why it's just a much better option if you do have a podcast, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, or if you've been podcasting for several years and you're just highly niched down in the space and already sponsored, why you should roll up your show into a live stream show and why live streaming is just significantly more profitable and better in every single way. So the first thing I do want to mention is a study of why I decided to start live streaming in the first place versus launching a podcast about 9 months ago. And so this was during the pandemic. There was a University of Florida study where 43% of podcast listeners were going to YouTube first. And then Apple was 34%, Spotify was 23%. So the majority of podcast listeners were going to YouTube, and that's still, the case today. It's only increased since the pandemic happened. So most people are listening to podcasts on YouTube and they're watching videos. They're not going to the podcast platforms anymore. So the channels are dying. That's the thing with podcasting, is that the podcast channels themselves are actually dying. And then when COVID happened, everybody went online. So everybody started watching social media, and just video marketing went through the roof. It's a lot more engaging anyway, but all the traffic is on social media now. It's not on podcast platforms anymore. It's still there, but it's all shifted. And so once I kind of saw that, the whole reason I wanted to do a podcast in the first place was to get content from it, to network and to build up an audience. And then I saw live streaming and I'm like, wow, this is just better. That was my first initial perception. And that's the first thing. Now, when you're thinking about, what makes podcasting even valuable and why live streaming is just far more profitable, it really comes down to traffic, right? So if you have a product or service, you can monetize traffic in two ways, either a sponsorship or you have your own product or service to sell. So that's how podcasts are even valuable, is because there's traffic, you build up listeners, and you're probably trying to get a sponsorship if you have enough of an audience, an engaged audience. And then ideally you have your own product or service that you can sell, you can monetize it much better. Now, what I didn't like about podcasting when I was thinking of going and starting one is that you have to build your audience from scratch. And for me, I had a decent following on Instagram. I already had a network and I already had listeners on Instagram. I had a decent network on LinkedIn, and I already had established channels with followers and people in my audience. And the idea of going and starting from scratch with a podcast and putting in years and years to try and build up this listener base really just bothered me. I wanted to just tap into my existing network. I didn't see why starting from scratch, just not a good option. Why not just tap into my existing follower base? And live streaming allowed me to do that. And that was another driving factor for why I decided to just do a live stream as opposed to a podcast, because I didn't want to build from scratch. The other thing is with the podcast, unless you're using an email list and you're actually getting, those listeners to subscribe and you're sending them a newsletter, it's not that easy to transport those subscribers over to your social media. So maybe a better way to say that is with your social media, when people connect with you on LinkedIn, they friend request you, or they follow a page on Facebook, or they follow you on Instagram, those people, you now retain those followers. You can put out a post and reach them almost at any point in time. With a podcast, that's not the case. You can't really send out push notifications to your subscribers. They might get notified when you release a new episode, but you can't continually tap into them. So you don't really own that traffic like you do with social media. Case in point, I didn't want to have to build an audience from scratch, and I wanted to just tap into my existing network that I built up over time. And with a podcast, as you build up those subscribers, you don't really retain them. But if you were doing a live stream, you are retaining those subscribers or the viewers of your live stream and your show in real time. You're able to actually capture them. So that just increases the value. So a good way to think about it, and I'll start to go into the numbers of why live streams are just significantly more profitable and why you should just ditch your podcast. But you can easily compare them to TV and radio. And that's just a very logical, intuitive way to think about it. When it comes to monetization, TV is just far exceeds the monetization potential of radio. I'm not saying that radio is bad. There's definitely, a need for radio, and there's definitely potential to monetize radio, but there's just no comparison in terms of profitability and conversions. And when it comes to advertising for TV, it's far more profitable, it's far more expensive, and it's just more engaging in every way. So podcasting was really the evolution of radio, where people could actually go and distribute their own radio shows. And live streaming now, as it is in 2021, is the evolution of TV. People now have the option to actually go and self-produce their own TV show, is a good way to put it, and distribute it to social and even distribute it to OTT channels like Amazon Fire TV and Hulu and Apple TV now. There's tons of different OTT channels and tons of different social channels that you can distribute your own TV show to. And so if you recognize that podcasting was the evolution of radio 4 or 5 years ago, well, live streaming is that evolution of TV, and it's now in the hands of creators for the first time. And so I saw all that. I started live streaming about 9 months ago, and then I got a sponsorship in the first 11 episodes using a strategy that I'm going to break down and show you in just a few minutes. But I wanted to kind of cover the basis there of, why live streaming is just better. It's just the evolution. It's just 10 times better than running your podcast. But let's talk about the touch points and driving impressions and generating traffic with live streams. So the one thing with TV and radio, a TV ad is worth a lot more, or it costs a lot more than a radio commercial. And that means if you have a show and you're trying to secure sponsorship, you can charge 5 to 50 times the rate for a video ad than you can an audio ad, like a podcast. And that just in itself should demonstrate why live streaming has such a higher monetization potential than podcast. I mean, orders of magnitude greater, because if you're running video ads on your live stream, you can charge 5 to 50 times more for the same ad from the same company, because it's a video ad, not an audio ad.
All right, there was the video telling y'all about. And I've done this same thing when me and Robbie used to do my Paranoid Playhouse, but it was all audio and everything like that, because tonight is about, did the video kill the radio star again? Just like the song say, because this guy's claim is, live streaming and video streaming is where everybody is going nowadays. And I'm like, but we also know that we've been doing, everything individually. We make videos, we make, different audios, we do everything like that. So, but to encourage people to go straight to one platform as a form of distribution and all that, I mean, it caught me off guard a little bit, but he did make a lot of sense on a lot of different things.
Right.
So, I mean, my idea was, the idea for this whole show was, is podcasting dead in 2022? Like I said at the beginning, I remember following some shows when everybody was doing podcasting, really good shows, but they quit doing them. So I'm like, man, did they stop doing them because they're free now? I mean, is that the idea? So my question to myself, when I think about things like this is, what are the various platforms doing to keep them around? Because, things popped up think about things that popped over the past years. StreamYard popped up. But we already had Anchor. Zoom popped up. We had Spotify, YouTube, Google, Facebook, Apple. I mean, right now Spotify is using what that green room we tried out for live audio with audience participation. I mean, which is still audio again, but now Anchor offers up where you can actually upload your videos to Anchor and they'll put it on Spotify as a video form. So anybody watching our show on Spotify will see a video, not just audio. Now it will also distribute to our other platforms such as Apple, Google, and the other ones out there as a audio version. But I think that ties into what he was saying about, you know, because you do a live stream and it shoots it out to all these places. I'm like, but yeah, I get that idea. But so what are your takes on that?
Okay, so yeah, I did take a few notes. Like I did not expect you. I did not take notes in the way you expected me to take notes in. I paid attention.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, you know, yeah, spoiler alert, I will be the buzzkill on a lot of talking points because I have one thing that I stand by, and that's because of who I am. So I will be a buzzkill on a lot of these talking points. But they, when Rob and JD was coming up with all these talking points in the group, and I'm like, all great points, but I'm going to be the buzzkill. But go ahead and give me your thoughts on this.
Okay, so all right, so at the beginning, I noticed at the beginning of the video, he did the numbers on like when podcasting, you know, first really became a thing in 2020 during the pandemic.
But see, now that's his claim was it first became, because podcasting's actually been around for a long time. I mean, there's over 700,000 podcasts out there in the media ecosystem, you know. But still, like you say, we agree, you know, according to the statistics, 65% of the people still go to YouTube just to solve a problem. You know, not watch a video, or a podcast or a TV show. They go there to solve problems. So YouTube is a very huge acclamation to the video world, if you will.
But here's the number that he gave out. You know, he said when podcasting started during the pandemic or whatever, okay, I know podcasting has been around for a long time. There's been radio shows out there way before you know, we went from radio antenna to satellite, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You know, all right. But he was saying during that time frame, it was 43% of people that were going to YouTube
first.
And then
they would go to YouTube first. Yeah.
And then second, it was 34% were using Apple Music as in second place.
Right.
Then and coming in dead last was Spotify with only 23%.
Right. So, you know, it's funny that how does Spotify grow? See, that's the question I came up with. I'm like, how does Spotify make all that money and they're able to pay all that money to other people if they're dead last?
Right.
You know, so that's the question I was like, well, wait a minute. If YouTube is so popular, how come Spotify has all that money?
And this is all according to a study from the University of Florida.
Yeah, I heard that part. Go Gators! Go Gators!
So
go ahead.
So it also took down in my notes. You know, what I took from the video because when the pandemic happened, people went online. People were using social media and video marketing. Okay.
And see, that's back. I mean, that's the same thing that pops up about, you know, the question I asked in my head. But I want to give JD a chance to chime in if you have anything.
No, I'm letting Rob finish. I mean, I could say a few things, but I'm just gonna let Rob finish first.
And then
go ahead.
And then it said then he also another note I took from the video. It's like it seemed like with social media marketing skyrocketing, all the attention was taken away from podcasting.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, social media, Facebook's been around for several years now. They killed Tom. Everybody knows that Zuckerberg killed Tom. Everybody knows that. You know. Right. So now Facebook has grown to the point now where, I mean, they own Instagram. They do the Meta thing now. So I mean, it's still, but I think a lot of young people are actually leaving Facebook and going to other places, such as TikTok, you know, Discord, Clubhouse. Right. You know, I think the young people are actually leaving Facebook because there's too much, you know, old people drama on there. Like the old people took over. When I say old people, I'm talking about the millennials who actually grew up. So they went from, you know, 18-year-olds to 30-year-olds, and now they're the ones, you know, taking over the platforms, and they're just like, we're out of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right.
But at the same time, I heard the rumor mill, Zuckerberg trying to kill TikTok because he feels it's a threat to his
Yeah, I've heard
competition.
that rumor mill too.
So I
That
mean,
shut it down.
Heard that too. Yeah.
but now, okay, now we go back to the like I said. When I say I took notes on this, what I'm talking about is I heard him talk about these things. But now his push is, start up a live stream or a video service and streaming out to social media places to make this and that. But now, what if you don't use social media to promote any show, live stream, video, or podcast? I mean, it seems to me
Right.
that you're going to be unheard of no matter what if you don't have a established social media presence.
Right.
Now, like me, I take a prime example for the Red Friday. I left the Circle of Fear last year for a lot of different personal reasons, my own personal reasons. So I don't interact on Instagram. I don't interact on Instagram. I don't interact on Facebook. Now, I still post on Facebook because that's where our main show group is and the podcast groups are. But I don't interact with anybody. I don't get on and talk to anybody on other places. So it's like, how do you reach an audience if you don't have an audience? No matter how, his idea was video will get you a bigger audience. Well, if you don't already have an audience, how do you expect to have a bigger audience?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my thing itself. Now, you guys, JD goes on TikTok and he has an ass ton of followers. You got this thing on YouTube with the bus and everything, got an ass ton of followers and watchers and all that. Me, no one listens to me except my cats, and they're like, okay, now when are you going to feed me? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but that's the whole thing. Is like the push for, does video make it a more marketable media source, if you will? Now, I do agree because I've done a ass ton of videos back in the day. I got a full YouTube channel full of videos that I've done, and I've experimented with all kind of different things. So yeah, I got a bigger viewer following, if you will, with doing video, because I do agree that people want to see these things rather than being heard. But if that's the case, then how come there's so many podcasters with so many listeners? Those are questions I come up with.
Okay, so I've tried some things like only thing I can think of, like, these people who already have these podcasts are probably people who already have enough of a following.
Right.
From other social media platforms, or either from doing their videos, they go into podcasting and their followers just like follow that person into what they're doing, and they're like, let's see what he's talking about, in this podcast.
Right. And I do agree with what the guy said is what people had already generated their followers on live stream or videos, through YouTube, because like I say, most people go to YouTube first. So their followers actually will go to the podcast channels. And he says, like on podcasts, they really don't have the way to notify people of a new episode. You got to do your own promotion, your distribution. You got to put it out. Hey, we just put up a new episode.
That is like when that takes me into like some of the notes that I took on the con of starting a podcast. That's like one of those notes that I took down was you have to build your audience from scratch. That's one of the cons. And then the hardest part to build a podcast audience is when you have a following on several platforms already and you have to advertise via email.
Right. Like I said, yeah. So I mean, the idea that do people tend? And I asked this question a long time ago, back when I was doing my WFAQ 1121 Rev After Dark. I asked this question a long time ago. Are people limited to how they want to watch a show or listen to a show, and how long is a good time frame? So it's like, are they driving to work or they're driving to the store, listening to the podcast? Because you really can't watch a video while you're driving, because that's, you're going to cause an accident. But people that are driving with you, or you're at home, So, I mean, it's always been the idea of audio versus video. But but I do agree with him. Video gives you more entertainment value, as in what you can see and do and all that. Like, hey, how you doing?
The reason why that happened is, like, with live streaming, if you have enough of a following, your followers will get that notification. Hey,
But what if you don't have any followers, though? That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, I'm not, you don't have that many followers. But I'm saying, for those that do have followers,
Right.
Like you get those people who have followers will get a notification, saying, "Hey, this person's live," or say like JD with his TikTok. We go live on TikTok, you know.
Not necessarily. I
If
don't
you,
go.
I mean, I'm saying, like, if you were to go live on TikTok, I'm sure people will probably get notifications because you have enough of a following, and I'm sure your followers will come watch whatever you're doing, or like come chat with you on TikTok, or either there's a girl that I follow on TikTok. I come in there and I chat with her. I got a girlfriend, and I'm not trying to flirt with her, just friendly
It's
chat.
conversation. It's conversation. Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, so my idea has always been like, I mean, the idea behind what his whole strategy was to how they build a bigger fan base to make a revenue stream through monetization. Now, but I still say, if you got no audience, you got no monetization, you got no money. But I
Right.
said that, but I said this from the beginning. I'm not here to make the money. I'm not here to get paid subscriptions. I'm not here to sell merchandise. If anything, I'll create shit and give the shit away. Because to me, it's always been about sharing the message. That's what it's always been about. And it's still that way. So it's like,
But yeah,
go ahead.
here's the thing. I also took another note that's saying that I'm going ahead and say it like this. I'm not gonna say exactly how my note said it. I'm gonna say it my way.
There you go. That's
If
what I want to hear. Speak your mind.
we were to if we were to ever decide to be like, hey, let's advertise a little bit, or let's buy an ad, it would be cheaper to buy a radio ad versus a television ad because television ads are not as cheap as radio ads. Television is where the cash cow is at.
Right. Well, that's what his thing was. It's like the advertisers actually would, the marketers would actually pay more money to run their video ads on your video show than running a audio ad on your audio show. So that's what his whole thing. That's how you make money on that. But see now, I'm gonna try to give me a second and break it down to like a baseball analogy. All right. Okay. You got a batter that comes to bat, and the ball comes up and he swings, hits that ball. Now, you're running towards first base, and that's where, how do you go and make the money? And if so, by whose rules do we need to follow to make that buck? I mean, so many words, phrases, and topics we can't even play music, for a lot of these things. And then they won't let us be seen, won't let us be heard, and definitely you won't get monetized. You know what I'm saying? So if you break their rules, you only make it to first base. You won't make it back to second base, third base. You won't even make it nowhere near those places. So in order to monetize or to get advertisement from marketers, you got to follow a certain set of rules. So there are certain words you can't say, certain phrases, certain topics you can't say, there's certain things you cannot do, especially playing music. And that's my dream to do my radio stuff.
You got so many, like you were saying, you got so many platforms to be like, okay, so if you're gonna play music, you can't play this. If you're gonna speak, you can't say this, you can't say that. You got some people who have rules in their room. Like I'm gonna use Big Rig Travel. I watch him a lot. Steve Michaels is his name.
Right.
He doesn't allow people to get political within his live chat. He will have his moderators boot them out of there quicker than anything. He doesn't allow any profanity in there either.
Because he wants to be monitored. And see, I get that. See, but the idea is like with our show, we've even said this from the beginning. It's a free for all. We're open to a lot of different topics and everything because a lot of things people either don't want to talk about or afraid to talk about. We have conversations. That's what people are supposed to be doing anyway. But if you try to go on the internet and do that same thing, they're gonna tell you, no, you can't do that. Otherwise, you can't make $1.99. Oh, listen here, motherfucker. I'm telling you right now, and I've said this from the beginning. I'm not ready to sell my convictions for $1.99. They've got to come at me with at least 6 digits before I pawn my soul. You know what I'm saying? You got to come in with some numbers. Yeah, but so this, even JD went through the same thing. JD, you had a YouTube channel, and you made money from it. But how much did you make?
I made a total of $25 before the platform changed, and they said you had to have over 1,000 followers now before you can do it. And unfortunately, YouTube, the way it is, my channel got buried under the scuffle, and so I abandoned it and went to TikTok.
Right. And like I said, that's the same. It's the rules. It's like if I try to put a video on YouTube and play music on there, it gets taken off because it's copyright. Now, I'm not trying to make money. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make money from what I do. Now, if I was to try to monetize, I wouldn't be able to play the music I want to play. I won't be able to say because they got a whole rules list now of things you cannot say. Otherwise you won't be monetized. You still watch the video, but you won't be monetized. But now they got another list of things you cannot say, or they'll ban the video and put you in YouTube jail. YouTube's got a jail now. Got a 7-day jail now. Even for news media, they have a jail now. I've seen a couple news media places get put in YouTube jail for 7 days because they not because they said anything wrong, because they played a clip from somebody else who said something wrong. And they're like, well, this is what this person said. They got penalized for it, and their show got banned for 7 days. A national news media source got banned for 7 days just for playing something that somebody else said. I'm like, so these rules are set in place to make money, but by whose rules?
Right. Who makes the rules? Like who?
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, what I was going to say before Bob said something, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rob, but it's like George Carlin, right?
Right.
Seven dead, or what do you call it? 7 dirty words, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Say on television, it's like that.
Right. Same thing. It's like when what do you call them people? The Censorship Bureau. They
Right.
on national TV you can't say certain words, but on cable you can. In the movies you can. But then they had even like we had an episode way back when we talked about censorship and the rating system and all that. So how it was set up a long time ago for you can't show boobies, you can't show female genitalia, you can't show male genitalia, you can't say certain words. They had a system for that. And I'm like, so the idea, but like, okay, now when the guy talks about live streaming and video is the way to go, but I'm like, but you got to follow these rules. Spotify has not once flagged us or censored us or tried to give us a copyright strike for doing things that we done. And I've done some shit on there. I broke several of the rules that the videos want you to use. And never once have they said, hey, shame on you. Not once. Now, at the same time, people ain't going to listen to that unless they're into, free speech, if you will, if they're into listening to what the other side has to say.
Right.
So I guess to me it always up to the individual on how they choose to enjoy their entertainment. Do they want to watch a video or they want to listen? Now I can do both of them. It depends on what I'm doing. But I do agree that video gets more attention. I do agree with that.
Yeah, it does. It's like, but also in order for that video to garner more attention, JD was telling me this earlier. You have to advertise with it. Like,
there we go. Back to first base. We can advertise. You can buy advertisement and sell our show around, but these advertisers are not going to deal with us because, well, I'm the rule breaker. I'll break the rules, so they won't deal with us. So we're back to first base. So how do you get an advertiser to accept, your free form, free for all process?
I got a thing I could say.
All right, go ahead.
It's like they always say, you can either adapt with the times or get left behind. And if you adapt with what the advertisers are wanting, then your show might grow. But if you stay behind the times, behind the curve of everybody else, your show's just going to be left like right here in the middle.
But see, that's it. But the idea of doing these shows, people will do these shows in order to make a revenue stream. I'm not trying to make a revenue stream. I'm trying to start a revolution. You know what I'm saying? Of people to have free thought, to have their own voices heard, have their feelings expressed, in different ways. That's always been my message, So it's like, whose leg do we got to hump to make the $1.99? Can I not be free and say what I want to say and you still give me money for it? How many comedians, we just talked about Gilbert Godfrey, he got paid big bucks to be vulgar, to be clean, to be, midstream, to be, mainstream. He got paid big bucks to do all these things. So there's got to be a way for someone to go, hey, here's some money and just do what the fuck you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's not possible because all these websites and platforms and everything like that, they have these rules set up because they feel like they have control over what we got to say. Now, like I said, it's not infringement on free speech because we're allowed to say what we want to, but they're allowed to say where we can say it at.
Right.
So the idea of advertising, to me, just my personal opinion, is by telling you how to make money by spending money, but only if you do what you're told with your money. So that's something that gets me, the whole idea. But I do agree with a lot of what Dude said. In order to build a platform, in order to build a fan base, in order to connect with the audience, the video is the more entertaining value itself. But the idea is we got to follow these rules. Like our show right now tonight is clean, so I probably won't get a copyright strike. I'll throw it on YouTube, see what happens. But at the same time, we can have the exact same show on Spotify, play music in the background, say this, whatever we want to say, and they won't say a peep. But at the same time, people won't know about our newest episode unless you promote it, which I do normally. Drop it in the group. I'll put it on my page. I'll go to 4 podcast group, drop it on there.
So I got a question. So
go ahead.
Are we in either Tumblr or Rumble?
No, I'm not in none of those. I'm not on anything anymore. But like I said, here's the thing. If there is promotion out there, like we've talked about this many times, that's why I need help with my co-host because I don't have anybody to post to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Those, like, you're on Reddit. Throw the links on Reddit. Throw the links around, whatever. Hey, here's a fucking link. Check out the show. Now,
Reddit, and then I can go to Tumblr, but I don't know about going to Rumble because of the fact of I have my reservations about Rumble. I'm not the culture out there.
No, stop. Rumble is set up to promote the speech of people who are being told they can't say things about bitching about somebody else. That's all it is. That's all it is. You can call it political, you can call it cultish, you can call it, right wing, whatever you want. But basically, Rumble was set up because they were being shut off from everything else, the mainstream, so they had to start their own thing. That's revolutionary. You ain't got to agree with it, you ain't got to disagree with it, but they're doing their own thing. Just like Parler, MeWe is trying to take on Facebook, and I see a lot of people on MeWe, like a lot of older folks, because they're tired of the drama on Facebook. Y'all are younger people go on Instagram, they go on TikTok. So a lot of people are, trying to find a new place to find a community of people to talk to. And that's what I'm trying to do. I try to reach out to people. But, long as they hear what we got to say, that's what's important to me. And like I said, last week we did our show. And now since Anchor offers the video platform for Spotify, I made a small video. And it was just our little pictures on there and our logo. And it was still our audio, but that video format ran on Spotify as a video. And we actually tripled our listeners from the previous 4 shows, which was amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I sit there, look at the numbers, I look at the statistics, I look at analytics, I look at all these things. And I'm like, well, shit, that actually worked. So then I watched this video the other day and I'm like, well, is the live video the way to go? Is it the actual being on camera? You know what I'm saying? Is that the way to go back to? Because we used to do this all the time, but we would do the same thing. We get on Skype, have a conversation, and I turn it into a video, put it on YouTube, but it'd be our audio over a picture. So I'm curious where this week's show is going to go, because if we triple our numbers from the first 4 shows using just a video picture, will it, increase now more? And like I said, the idea, the guy says, YouTube is the hot spot, if you will. People want to see those videos. Now, at the same time, if I upload the video and they say, copyright strike, we can't play this, can't play that, I don't know what to do after that. You can't put it on Facebook. But at the same time, I'm curious where this goes, because I'm going to load it to both places. I'm going to load it on Spotify or Anchor, which will be in video format on Spotify. Then I'll put it on YouTube. But after that, all I can do is post the links in the group and the podcast groups. I have nothing beyond that. So I don't have an audience to post these links to all the time. But like, you have Reddit and all that. Reddit's a big, great following for a lot of different people. So that's a good outsource, if you will. Yeah, see, they talk about audience grab. I know how to grab an audience because you want to give them something, what is this show about this week? What is this week's episode about? So the idea of, these things, but it's like, I get everything that he said, but like I said, I am curious, are we going to go back to making videos? And But live streaming is that it seems so much work because we've tried Zoom, we've tried StreamYard. I mean, there Facebook Live is just like so much shit involved. It's like I don't know. It's like it seems like so much work to do everything. But like what we're doing right now, we got a video going on, conference on Skype.
Right.
We'll take that video, make a double video out of there, and throw it out there to the world to watch. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I'm curious about that shit, you know.
Yep.
But I mean, the question is, the podcasters that were actually doing this because they like doing it, but they did it because they were bored, they had better to do, and they decided they got their freedom back, they want to go back out and live in the world. Okay, that's fine, have at it. But I mean, like I said, we've been doing this going on 3.5 years now. That's what we do. Now we don't have the numbers like most celebrities and shit like that, but we got a pretty good following, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all to tune in when we put our shows out there. I do appreciate y'all. Now I wish I had a better way to connect. That's why I'm trying all different kind of things. I tried Discord, did not work. You have to have 1,000 followers in order to be involved in discovery. Where do I actually put your show out there? And I'm like, oh, fuck that.
Right.
It was so much work trying to set up Discord. And I finally got it all down, and I was like, oh man, it's ain't worth it, man. I was like, damn. So I found this new site called YouNow, and it's a webcam site, and people go on there, they do good gaming, talking, and all that. And I can actually play music on there and have video in the background, and people listen. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's what I want. And now I can get on camera and say, hey, how's it going? And they talk to the people as I'm playing the music. So like I said, I've had a plan from the jump. Like Wolfman Jack, a radio station. You get in, sit down to the DJ, talk some shit, play some music, talk to the audience, get some phone calls, play some music, and you got a day, So that I said I've had a plan since jump, but that's just part of my curse. Though I mean, have you ever heard the term Bodhisattva?
No.
It's actually pronounced Bodhisattva, but like Point Break, Patrick Swayze, they call him Bodhisattva.
Right.
Basically, a Bodhisattva is a being or a creature, a human, animal, whatever you want to call it, who is compassionately trying to refrain themselves from entering nirvana. They actually, they're working on being a Buddhist, like the whole mentality, the whole lifestyle. Yet they feel they can do more here on this plane of existence, rather than the next life. But the idea of being a Buddhist is reach total enlightenment, go to the next level. But a Bodhisattva actually thinks they can do more here with that same mentality, that same compassion. Now, to me, it always seems like it's a gifted curse. They want to achieve enlightenment and move to the ultimate level, but at the same time, they're stuck here because they're not ready to let go of the things and the people that they desire to help and keep. So they're just stuck here doing the best for everyone and everything else, but they have no reward except trying to save the world. And in my opinion, the world does not want to be saved. So I feel like this. I feel like that sometimes. Like I'm stuck trying to save the world, but at the same time, why am I even trying to save anybody who don't want to be saved? But that's my curse though. That's my gift is the message, because I know someone out there has the problems of living in this world, and they don't know who to turn to. They don't have no one to turn to, and they turn to somebody else. They're gonna get the wrong idea, whatever. That's why I don't try to bullshit nobody. I try to keep it real. Now, my real is dark sometimes, but it's real though, But that's once again, that's just me. Let me close out these notes because that's all I had on that.
Right.
So, any more thoughts on the idea of video versus podcasting? I mean, do y'all think? I mean, I'm asking y'all opinion because y'all are main part of the show. It's not the Reverend Friday Daddy show. It's the PSU got this with JD gets playing the ref. So I mean, should we go with live stream, not so much live stream, but video format?
Okay, so that brings me on to the last part. Like, yeah, if we do try to go with this, we get enough for following, we could at least retain our audience. Okay.
Well, now see like, okay, your YouTube channel, you got these bus shows and all that. You got a pretty good following on there.
I put down in my notes, it's like when you live stream, you can tap into a multitude of different SMPs. And when I mean by SMP, I mean social media platforms.
Well, okay, first base. What if you don't use social media?
Oh, yeah.
See, you can advertise, you can monetize, you can make money from this if you reach out to your audience on social media. What if you don't use social media? What if you're a pirate like me? Arr,
Oh yeah, if you don't use social media, then yeah, that ain't gonna help you at all. You have to go by word of mouth.
But it's not gonna hurt me neither though, because I'm not ready to, like I say, give up my convictions for $1.99. They gotta come at me with 6 digits.
Right.
For me to stop doing what I'm doing and follow their bullshit rules, they gotta come with 6 digits. Yeah, I'll pawn my soul for 50 grand. I ain't got no problem with that. But I'm still gonna do what I gotta do. I just gotta not say certain words or certain phrases or talk about certain people. You know what I'm saying? I can do that for 50 grand, but not $1.99. Fuck you. I can't post our show on Instagram. I can't post our show on Twitter. You know,
I'm saying, you know,
yeah. I know. So the idea is to get people to watch our show, but so if we change it from audio back to video and do video formats, if we get people to watch our shows, they can send it out to everybody else. So it goes back again. It depends on how people want to view their entertainment. Do they want to watch it or listen to it? Now, I like to give everybody an option to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
So, but I do like the idea that Spotify or Anchor now offers the idea to upload a video to Spotify. So Spotify is actually promoting video playbacks now, which is interesting because that's what the guy said was, well, Spotify, people don't go there because it's only audio, blah, blah, blah. And I got to agree. But some people do go there because they like the, true crime podcast or the Desperate Housewives podcast, the sports podcast. They like listening to people have conversations. They have going to work or traveling, they can listen on the radio. So right. I do get that. But the idea for me was always been get on the air, talk some shit, play some music, talk to the audience, talk some more shit, play music. Mostly play music, because music is going to feed our soul. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my dream.
Right.
So that's what I've been working for, and I'm still working towards that. All right.
Well, anyway, what I was going to say was, Rev, back in the day, Orson Welles, right?
Right.
He had
example.
He had the War of the Worlds. There we go, or whatever it was called back in the day.
Right.
Not a lot of people knew about him, and when he broadcast that, he kind of freaked some people out. He changed some things.
But also, you got to think about, great example, because you had Little Orphan Annie, you had the Lone Ranger, the Shadow, Dark Shadows, a lot of radio programs, because radio was the only thing that people had. Now people have internet. It's no longer just TV, they have internet. So, right. I mean, do people, see, I asked this a long time ago, do people rather want to watch the videos or do they want to listen to the audio? So there's always that what do people want to do? I'm there for them. Let me know what you want to do. I'll spit it out however you want to. But like I said, I've been a camera whore for a long time. I ain't got no problem being on camera.
Right.
I've been a camera whore for a very long time.
But go ahead. Right. Here's the thing with that also. Where you don't want to use like the social media. You don't think you ain't gonna sell your soul for no $2. You want like some 6 figures.
Right.
Then in your case, like I would stick to word of mouth and stick to like, you can do video, but it's better by word of mouth. But also stick to podcasting where you're used to one channel because of the fact that
See, I don't just stick to one channel. I get it out there to a lot of different places. But I'm saying I'm trying to find out who is listening or watching where. I'm not just sticking to one platform. But I don't go to the architecture of fear. I don't go to Twitter. I don't go to Instagram. I don't go to Facebook to find my audience, because a lot of people have left those places because they felt, they're not being heard. They're being like you say, thrown under the rug, overshadowed. So the people are out there listening. We just got to find out we're listening at. We got to find their cave. We got to find their destination. That's all my thing is. But
right.
To cater to the audience on certain topics, I have never been about that. Because my brain don't work that way. I got to speak from here, more than here. So it's like that's always been my thing. So, but I do have, like I said, it's always about the message. It's always about the message. But don't kill the deliverer. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah. But other than that, like I said, I mean, I would love people's feedbacks on this idea. Is video killing the radio star again? Or is it because I say you can go on YouTube and actually see videos of people talking about how podcasts killed the video. So everybody has their own opinion on it, but tonight I wanted our take on it. You know what I'm saying? Our
Right.
experiences, our knowledge, our experience, you know, our how we come across these things. But other than that, what else y'all got for the folks?
I don't have nothing. You, Rob?
I would have to agree that podcasting is kind of starting to go by the wayside because I guess coming along the lines of what you're talking about, people are like, hey, we're free now, we can go back to doing what we was doing before.
But see, that's just it. I never go back to what I was doing before. I always move forward and try to add something different to the program, if you will.
I mean by going back to doing what we were doing before, going back to what we were doing before we started podcasting, like they were doing like video or doing.
But we were still doing
stuff,
the same thing. We were still doing podcasts back then because I was taking the audio and putting a picture on the audio. So it was still a podcast, but it was in video format on YouTube.
Right.
So all they see was a picture and hear us talking. That's all that was. So it's still podcasting, but it's on a video channel, but you still only hear us talking. But I'm saying, so I guess we'll see how this week goes because now we got live video or recorded video, however you want to call it. We got us on camera. All you get to see is hang out with us. But I would definitely like to get people, interested into the show enough to where they want to come on and have a conversation with us. That's always a ticket. Always
to go.
Right. I want to hear their opinions. I know my opinion, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say my opinion. But other than that, yeah, it's been an experience. Like I said, we're gonna give this a shot, see where it goes. I'm good with that. Y'all find JD on TikTok. You find Rob on YouTube. I'm out there in the multiverse. You can just look up Reverend Pride Daddy's everywhere.
All right.
But other than that, we're gonna get out of here. Y'all say goodnight, folks. We're gonna hit that button.
Night, y'all.
We love y'all. Peace.
I guess I gotta wave one more time, don't I? Bye, camera.